Good afternoon. This is Jim Fowler, and I am here with Larry Fox. Larry is one of our longest surviving Smoky Mountain Historical Society members, and Larry has an interesting history, and I am privileged to talk with him today about his history, so that he can share that with me and you. And I hope you will enjoy this conversation as much as I know I will, because I know a little bit about Larry, and the more I learn about Larry, the more fascinated I have become. I have teased Larry in the fact that I wish he was an uncle, and I think Larry said that for a small fee he will consider adding me to his family tree. So without further ado, thank you, Larry. Where would you like to start? Would you like to start with your earliest school memories, or where do you want to go?
I think, yeah, let's start with here in Sevier County. As a wee small lad, I first attended school at Benson School on Walden's Creek. And then after 1946, the family moved to Maryville, and we lived in Maryville through into 1949 or so, and then moved back to Sevier County because my grandfather needed one of his children, some of his children, any of his children, to move in and kind of keep house for him. So we moved from Maryville back to Sevier County. And it was only after I moved back to Walden's Creek and going back into Benson School for the 7th and 8th grades that I began to show any promise of any kind of future at all, because I was scared to death the whole time we were in Maryville. I was scared of overawed by the big city boys.
By the big city boys in Maryville.
Okay. In Maryville, yeah. But it was only as a student that I began to shine after we moved back from Maryville. So completed Benson School, went to Sevier County School, Sevier County High School.
Let me interrupt you a minute. You mentioned living in Maryville, and I recall talking to you a couple of years ago, and I think you mentioned that your father worked for a lumber company.
No, he worked, oh, that was before he went to work for Alcoa.
Okay.
Yeah, he he grew up working with lumber over on Little River in Blount County. And I have no idea, it'd be before my time, that he transferred and got a job with Alcoa. So we were living in Maryville because he was working for Alcoa.
So he gave up the job as a lumber...
Well, the lumber industry kind of petered out, you know, and so, yeah.
Okay, and his name was?
Carl Fox.
Carl Fox.
Actually, his name, and I didn't even know this until after he had, almost before he had died, we said something about it, that he was a junior. His full name was Tillman Carl Fox Jr. And I never knew he was a junior up until just before his death. But anyhow.
So he was working at Alcoa, and to take care of Grandpa, the family moved back to Walden's Creek.
Moved back to Walden's Creek.
And then, did he continue to drive back and forth to Alcoa?
There was no driving. You rode a work bus.
Right.
So he would ride that daily bus from Walden's Creek to Alcoa and back. And that was at 3 shifts, and that bus would service all 3 shifts.
Didn't that like start at 6 a.m. or something like that, or was it 5 a.m.?
The shift started at 6, so they'd have to leave about Walden's Creek about 4:30.
Oh my goodness.
In order to start the 6 a.m. shift. And anyhow, after Benson School, went to Sevier County High School, and I had always been, like I said, I was somewhat overawed by the Maryville school system. And it was only after I got into Sevier County High that I began to show any promise of having a mind of my own or a brain of my own. And I actually graduated from Sevier County High as a member of the Beta Club, which surprised even me. And then each summer we would work in, go to Gatlinburg and get a menial job doing some kind of worthless work, but it still had to be done. And I always had a job bussing dishes, except for the last summer of '55, I was pumping gas in a service station. But no promise, no prospects of any kind of job or career after high school. And come fall of the year of 1955, I looked around and all of my classmates had disappeared because they had gone away to college. And there I am with no prospects of going to college. And so one night in the fall, I know it was cold, and a friend of mine who was in the same situation that I was in went out and well, we got drunk, and we had a pity party. And the next morning, oh, I am there pumping gas, and this guy came in for gas, and I'm there pumping gas for him, and he started, and he got right in my face, and he, young man, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Here you smell like a brewery early in the morning. And I'm thinking to myself, so what's it to you? And I was just getting ready to haul off and hit him when he said, you ought to try to make something out of yourself. I said, what do you mean? And I about halfway listened to him because I said, hey, maybe this guy knows something I don't know. He said, you ought to go to college. I can't go to college. Why not? I ain't got no money. He said, are you willing to work? And I said, yeah. Here I am working right now. He said, if you're willing to work, you come down to Hiawassee College in Madisonville and you look me up. And if you're willing to work, I'll see that you get a college education. Well, it was too late in the year because the fall term had already started. But I went down there and I got signed up. I walked in his office just before, on January 2nd or 3rd, when the new term began. I asked him, said, do you remember me? And he said, I sure do. He said, you go get checked into the dormitory and talk to somebody about getting your meals squared away. And then you come back and see me, and I'll see that we've got some work for you to do.
Do you recall that man's name and his position?
Yeah. He was Reverend Cass Turner. And he was his position was he was the college recruiter. And so anyhow, I did what he said.
And that's January of 1956.
So when I went back, he said, okay, I got a job for you. He said, you're going to be sweeping up sawdust in the campus craft shop where they were manufacturing church furniture. So that was my first job there at Hiawassee College, was 40 cents an hour for sweeping up sawdust. And then my second year, I got a raise to 45 cents an hour. But I also picked up any other kind of work I could pick up while I was there. You know, I wound up, I worked in the dining hall. I would, not only help cook the meals and do the dishwashing afterwards and then buff the floors, but I would also fire the furnace. I also got paid $45 a quarter for put the flag up every morning and take it down at night. And the time spent at Hiawassee, I also qualified for the Phi Theta Kappa, which is a junior college version of Pi Beta Kappa. And come graduation, and I managed to make up the quarter I had missed, not only by working all the time I could, but also by taking all the classes I could. So time to graduate, and I left Hiawassee College.
Now, is Hiawassee, was that a junior college?
It was a junior college.
Okay.
I didn't know that when I went, but anyhow, I'm now ready to transfer to another to a four-year school. But one thing before I got ready to transfer, you see, when I got there, not soon after I got there, I met this cute little girl. And her name was Magdalene Hartzell. And we got to spend a lot of time together there on campus. And anyhow, come fall of the year, come graduation in the spring of '57, I had managed to get enough recommendations to go to Berea College in Kentucky, and that's also a work school. But before I left Hiawassee, I went by the business office and I said to the business manager, I said, Mr. Coleman, I'm about to leave here. I never paid you a cent, but I have worked all I could. So how do we stand? You know, how much do I owe you? And he said, wait a minute, let me check. And he pulled out a folder with my name on it. And he starts looking at all kinds of numbers and tabulating with that hand-sprung adding machine, you know. And he finished up and he says, you know, Larry, he says, we're not too far apart. I said, really? That's good. He said, in fact, it's exactly $30 apart. And I said, you're kidding me, $30? I have been here for 2 years. I have eaten your food. I have used your educational system. I have qualified for Phi Theta Kappa. I have got good recommendations to go on to Berea College. And I only owe you $30. He said, no, no, no. You give me a few minutes and I'll have your check for $30 written. I have worked out $30 more than my entire expenses at Hiawassee College.
So Larry, what did you do with the $30?
I hitchhiked from Hiawassee College in Madisonville, Tennessee to Berea College in Berea, Kentucky, and I laid the $30 down as down payment on my tuition at Berea. And then they gave me a job. Everybody at Berea had to have a job. And they gave me a job working in the hotel, either as desk clerk on certain shifts or as a busboy, not a busboy, but a bellhop on another shift. So this is how I got started at Berea. I got enrolled in Berea as a junior, and I really wasn't doing all that well up there because I was used to this cute little girl that I had spent a lot of time with down at Hiawassee College, and I would hitchhike home every other weekend or so to spend some time with her. And my classwork wasn't doing all that great up there either. In fact, I learned that since they were paying only 18 cents an hour, it was going to take me a long time to pay them off for my education. So, come Thanksgiving of '57, when we had our Thanksgiving break, I hitchhiked home again. And of course, she and I spent time together again. And I decided I am not doing worth a flip here at Berea College. I'm just gonna drop out and I'm gonna get married. Because that's what I really want to do anyhow, is I want to get married. I want to spend my life with that girl. And on December 5th of '57, we were married.